Well, hey there, Dom. How you doing, big dog?
Good, good. Doing well. How about yourself, Eric?
Doing well, man. We are nearing the end of Freedom Time. How about you? We go back Monday. What's your schedule?
We had a floating in service this week, so I had to do 7.5 hours of in service this week, which I got finished up today. Hard in service Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, I am off, and the students start Thursday. How
Okay,
about you?
all right. Yeah, not too bad. So we had, kind of that half day floating, get our room together. But as I talked about before, our room was moved, so a lot of unboxing, a lot of re-sticking, and putting glue sticks up. Lost one of my helpers because my oldest went to college, so we dropped her off yesterday. So my other two were helping out. So finished that up, and we also do Lego robotics. So we snuck two practices in with our teams, and so teachers back Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Kids back on Thursday. But the nice thing is, for the first time in forever, my daughters go to school one day before me. So I am so excited for Wednesday morning when I get to wake them up and say, "Time to get up." I don't have
Uh,
to go to school just yet. So they're not looking forward to
yeah, that's the same here. My daughter goes back on Wednesday, so I made sure I freed up my time so Wednesday I can wake her up and drive her to school, which she'll just like, stay in the car. Don't put the window down. Don't wave. Don't call out. The whole list of daddy don'ts.
that. Yeah, we why do we have such a long list with those things? It's messed up.
I have no idea.
So hey, according to my calendar, I think we're like at the third Thursday, aren't we?
I believe so.
I think we have a lot to talk about. How about you?
I think we do. There's a lot going on. A lot has happened since our last broadcast.
Yeah, it was an exciting one, but there's a lot going on. So I think it's time, Dom, for
The PACT pod.
let's hit it. All right, welcome to the PAECT pod. This is episode 14, and we're so excited to have so many people here with us live and in person. My name is Eric Verno. I have the honor and privilege to be the vice president of PAECT, and I am joined with.
I'm Salvucci. I'm the Southwest Regional Director, the Regional Director of the Southwest region of PACT.
Yeah, and that's really the heart line. Our six regional directors, our one out of state coordinator do such a fantastic job of doing some awesome PACT stuff. But what is makes their job easier is having unbelievable members.
Yes, the membership is the strength of our organization. And
And good, Dom.
oh no, I was going to say, and speaking of that, we do have a surprise. We have several surprise guests tonight.
We do.
Membership, some new members, some existing members, and we're going to do a little talk about some of the events that we have had going on this summer.
Yeah, so one of the big things that PACT is a part of, we had the honor several years ago to bring back a program called Keystones Technology Integrators Program. And I attended, and I'm a KTI star from 2006. When did you attend, Dom?
I want to say 2009. I
Okay,
was a I was a learner in 2009, and then 2010 I was a mentor lead learner.
awesome. And so we brought the program back. We've been just fortunate to have a connection with Shippensburg University. We're there every summer, and it is just a awesome time to geek out and get fired up and really just kind of get with your people. And the cool thing is, your people are people you've never met before. So it's a very cool experience. We take well, now we're going out of state, but all across the state, out of state, as years have gone, the backyard baseball, as we've had, anywhere between 400 to 600 people apply, and they're nominated by superintendent, by principal, somebody in their building, and so once they get a nomination, they get the opportunity to apply for summit, and just as everything kind of going on in this day and age, Dom, you know, teachers got a lot on our plate, so our numbers have gone down a little bit as far as
Yes.
those applications, but it's kind of to be expected. What do you think?
Oh, definitely. It's I don't want to say a burnout, but people are definitely worn down. The last few years have been trying to say the least, and it's shown in the numbers. Last last year we were in person. 2 years before that, I believe we were virtual fully virtual. So it's been rough, but we're rebounding pretty good. KTI, I still am in contact with people, whatever from I was a KTI with way back in the early, late 2000 aughts. It's a great group of people, and that is, one of the backbones. Those people contribute as members to PACT, and it's a backbone of the organization. It's kind of like our crown jewel event. It's not shared with any other organization. We do have sponsors that help out with it, but it's a conference for members, and all the lead learners are existing members. So it's, I don't want to be redundant and say, for PA,
Or
for PACT by PACT, but that's pretty much what it is.
yeah, a lot of people are. I'm not only a client, I'm also the. So
Yes.
the cool thing is, even right now, if somebody wants to be, we have different designations. You have a lead learner. That's an educator in the states and out of state now. And you've been a KTI star, you can apply to be a lead learner. Those applications are open now. And the as far as being nominated by your building principal, by a superintendent, see if there's any stars that have been in your school. If you go to keystonespa.org, there is a list of former stars, and you can find one, talk to them, and they can even nudge your administration, nudge your leaders to nominate you. So nominations occur. They get emails about applying, and I mean, our numbers are just always across the board in that ballpark of 200 as far as stars applying to be at Summit. And what's interesting is we do have a backlog because some people, when the shutdown happened, were approved. They've held over. Some of them came last year, some of them this year. We still have a pocket of people that are still sitting there. So they're automatically in because of everything going on in the world. We kind of, allowed them to take that pause because some people still don't want to be in larger crowds, and we get all that. So the application is put in, and right around Pete and C, that February time is when lead learners find out if you're going to be a lead learner or not. And even though I've been there several years, I sweat out the application every year because it's a blind application. Names are stripped out, and the couple people that are reviewing for lead learners, they review it. And I even remember one year I was told flat out, like, I kind of rested on my laurels for like 2 years and kind of kept the same sessions because I thought they were good. And I even got told there was actually, there was the person behind the scenes that knew the names was actually trying to make sure that I freshened it up, because really you want to have people that are there that are uh, cutting edge, that are doing great things in their classroom. You don't want to just keep doing the same old same old. You want to make sure you're pushing forward, because if your session that you're leading isn't pushed forward, the people attending aren't going to be pushed forward.
Yeah, it's a great learning time. It's intense, but it's a good intense. You pick up a lot of things, and even as a regional director, I come up on Thursdays, stay for part of Friday, and I like dropping in on sessions. I still take notes, and I still float around and pick up information, meet the new PACT members, the new KTIs, run into old friends, but I still get a lot of information from the people there and the lead learners there. It's always a good time. Always get to have something good to bring back to the classroom.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And even being a lead learner I'll do my sessions, but still going around, attending other sessions. And even when the different activities are going on and sitting amongst the different campers and the different attendees and the stuff that they're talking about, the stuff that they're doing. I mean, that's one thing I love about education. If you want to be a dinosaur, you can be a dinosaur, but it's very hard to not learn stuff and to get better. And that's really the ultimate goal, because we want to be the best we can for the kids that we have in our classroom. So going with the continuation, so you become lead learner, you become KTI star, you get nominated, you get accepted. Lead learners start just shortly after Pete and C in February, and we meet once a week ish in that ballpark up until the week of the summit. And it's a long evening. It's getting stuff together. It's getting product. It's getting things for the stars. It's sharpening your tools, and it's kind of interesting seeing in the back end. So one of our guests today, Michelle Krenzer, will be on or Melissa Krenzer, sorry, and she'll be on to talk about what it was like switching over from attendee to lead learner. All right. So we're going to start off and we're going to have a talk with her. What do you think, Dom?
Sounds good.
let's
And
figure out, good.
before we get started, I want to throw a shout out. We have had a couple regular viewers, uh, and one is my neighbor Eric. He's put us on the big screen in the neighborhood. They have a neighborhood watch party for the PACT pod, and there's a bunch of other members who jump in on social media. And I want to thank all the viewers before we even get started because we appreciate the feedback.
Yep, love
Gina
it.
Ligori's one from my region. She's always pulling information from the podcast and interacting with us. And there's a bunch of other people that I don't have the names in front of me. I apologize. But throughout, please feel free to comment on social media or Twitter, whatever, Facebook. Comment, give us some feedback during the broadcast. Thank you guys for interacting with us.
Was it the old Barlow James? And I'll thank you for your support. But we are live on Facebook, we are live on Twitter, we are live on YouTube, and for the first time this evening, we're live on LinkedIn. So excited to have people watching and giving those comments. And big shout out to the neighborhood. I appreciate you all taking care of Dom. All right, okay, really appreciate that. All right, so let's go ahead and pull Melissa up here because she went to go find that other person I mentioned, and they couldn't find them. So now she's back. She's ready to roll. All right, here we go. Hey, Melissa.
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm great.
Hi, Melissa.
Except for Verno saying the wrong name, you're good.
That's okay. I get it a lot. Just don't call me Missy. I love Missy, but I don't like being called Missy.
Well, it's my fault. My notes, I typed them wrong, so I take total ownership over that.
Oh, okay, that's okay.
All right, so the base is having you on. You went from KTI Star, was it
last summer,
21, and switched over. You applied, and I do remember. Gosh, where were we? It was it the lunch on Wednesday at Pete and C where Scott had the conversation with you?
Yeah, it was because the night before, he came up to my good friend Tracy, who was my biggest connection from my time as a star, and asked Tracy to be on. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't get it, next time, whatever. And then he came up and asked me the next day, and I was like, yes. So made my day for sure.
And I will say, when you got that news, and I was there, I was privy to all the conversations.
Because he didn't know who I was, but you did.
Yeah.
So you had to point me out to him.
Then I knew your name. Your name. Now not so much. Yeah, no. So I did. I had to point him out because there's a lot of names being thrown in the mix. And so when he had that conversation, the way you responded, like you could tell a person's character in the way they react, whether it's positive, whether it's negative. So truly love your character. And then when different things kind of evolved and kind of opened up. There was immediately that next day that spot that opened, and I'm just gonna throw away the ending of the story. You did a killer job. It was awesome. You really did.
Thank you. It was very much a highlight of my summer.
All right, so we do have some questions to drill you with, just to kind of start off with, right? And just for those listening, she knew this ahead of time, so it's okay. So we were trying to be nice to everybody. All right, so let's kick off question 1 there, Dom.
Melissa, where do you teach, and what grade level do you teach?
Yes, I'm from Grove City, Pennsylvania, so about an hour north of Pittsburgh, just north of Dom in the Northwest region, and I teach 4th grade in Grove City Area School District, and I'm lucky to only have to teach math, science, and social studies, so those are my favorite subjects to teach.
That's a pretty long list of only, but yes, okay. All right, makes good that it's your favorite. All right, so KTI, how did you hear about it? Because let's talk about as the applying for Star. We'll go with that.
Sure. So my first time at Pete and C was 2019, and I went to this really intriguing session called Girls Gone Google by Missy and Karen, and it was actually held that year. It was actually Mardi Gras, and so Karen and Missy were passing out beads, and I think they were wearing their purple shirts, and I'm like, what is this KTI thing? And that was like my first I was curious and I needed to know more. And then they shared a little bit about KTI in their presentation. And so I went back home and told my principal, you need to nominate me. And it was too late at that point, I think, that year. But the following year, she did nominate me. But then COVID happened. So I did attend Cyber KTI that summer and then was able to go last summer in person.
Yeah, and you bring up Cyber. I mean, that was just that was an unbelievable experience. And I mean, again, behind the wall, the backyard baseball, we had to make a pivot point. We had to make that decision. Do we go online or don't we? Because it's always been in person. Are we going to water it down? Is the product going to be what we want it to be? Because now you've been through it, you know what the product is. And we just decided, you know what, we have to do it. Like, we're all tired, we're all battling this, we got to do it. And so the insane was, I think we were over 700 attendees, and it was a perfect storm of everybody had gone through what that first year of shutdown was really like, where it wasn't really a full, like, here's what we're going to do as a school, but everybody was grasping for, like, that wasn't good, like, it needs to get better. And so the amount of people that were tacking on. One of our other lead learners, Greg Macer, he was kind of we were working the social media lines, and he was our background graphics guy. And it'd be like 5 a.m, and I would pop up and I would look at our back end to see what our numbers were. And I'm like, dude, we're going to hit another 50. He's like, all right, 450. Dude, we're hitting another 50. He's like, all right, 500. Like, he was popping out graphics like crazy. I'm glad he didn't charge, because it would have been expensive. But yeah, so that was a cool experience. But then you roll over into Star. So being a Star, at what point during that week did you just think to yourself, I've got to apply for lead learner?
I'm a high energy person anyway, so I thought I could fit right in with these people. But I just love helping other people, and especially with technology, and of course the connections that come with KTI. So definitely felt leaving that, I'm like, yeah, I want to come back. And then it was my husband who actually said, I want you to apply, because I mean, I have 3 teenagers, and being away for a week was tough for being a Star and then to be a lead learner. But he's like, I want you to do it. So he kind of encouraged me, and I think I was submitting my application on the very last day, which I don't recommend. But there was a reason I was there, and I felt like, that was my time to be a lead learner, and I'm excited to explore the possibility in the future.
I'm pretty sure if I look at the timestamp, I might have you beat, because my favorite phrase to say is, one thing procrastinators don't procrastinate is procrastination. We never put that off. All right, Don, what do we got next?
Well, she kind of talked about the KTI experience, and this ties in with that. How did you hear about PACT? Were you aware of us before your P&C experience, or was that when you kind of heard
No,
about
not really before my P&C experience. I just knew I went to my first. Actually, Dom, I don't know if you remember this, but I met you at an ed camp in Pittsburgh. That was my first time meeting you. I think I heard about P&C from ed camp. I joined Twitter when I was at ed camp in Grove City College. And then I started following these people, and I was like, what is this PACT? What is this P&C? And so started getting involved. But then, of course, COVID happened, and a lot of the last 2 years were virtual. So I did some virtual things. But this year, I'm in the Northwest. So Josh Bundy and Nicole Hill have asked me to be a member at large. So I'm on the board in a very small capacity, and started planning our first event, which is in a couple of weeks. So excited to kind of be a part of that, and foster some energy, and just encourage people to keep those connections.
Yeah, I've met a bunch of you guys from the Northwest at a couple different events. I can't remember which ed camp it was, but I remember meeting a bunch of people from Northwest traveling down. But I am going to disagree with you on one point. You are doing more than just a small events. You've helped out a lot. We're actually going to bring you back later in this conversation, because you are stepping up big time once again.
Yep, I'm excited.
Yeah, go ahead, Eric.
Really, Dom, it's because we're going to be tired and we need our energy back on.
Yes. Yeah, I did in service today, so I'm dragging a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't. Not until Tuesday.
Good. She's good.
No, you've stepped up big time, and actually, along with some other members from the Northwest at P&C, you guys stepped up big time and ran an event. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. We'll keep people hanging on for a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's so you talked about being at some of the PACT events, some different things. So that's good. Sometimes we have people that, maybe. How long were you attending some of those events? Have you just recently, or prior to KTI?
I think I definitely did some events last year when they were close by. But our region's very big. I don't know if most of them are like that, but the event we're doing in September is an hour away on a school night. So it's a little harder. And then with COVID, like I was going to go to an event last spring, but I was sick. I don't know if I had COVID, but you just stay home anyway. So, like I said, I've done some virtual, but we had Eric Kurtz last fall, and that was pretty cool. And that was actually in my backyard practically. So I had to go see him in person. That was pretty cool.
He's one of the founding members of Beards at ISTE. Go check Twitter. I got my picture with him. He's a good dude. So last question, Dom. Hit her with the last question. All about capes or no capes.
What is your superpower? Either in life or at school?
Well, I did wear a cape at KTI this summer because I was promoting my gamification. But my superpower is student engagement, low tech, high tech, a little bit of tech, whatever. I love doing the amazing progressive things to get my kids involved in my learning, my 10-year-olds. So this year I'm gamifying my classroom. The kids are coming the first day of school to the astronaut training experience. I've created badges. I've created trading cards. They're going to have XP points. So that's my newest superpower, stepping up the student engagement. And if you follow me on Twitter, you're going to see a really cool video my husband helped me put together to teach the parents about what I'm doing this year. So
Nice. I look forward to checking that out.
Yeah, the smile she had when she got that cape.
Yeah,
pretty
I was pretty excited about that.
All right, so that was a secret prize patrol item that didn't make it out to everybody else. So anyway, so now I just want you to know, Melissa, okay, it's not that you aren't a special guest for the pod, but I wanted to pull you on, talk about the KTI, talk about the Keystone, the lead learner, but now we're going to pull everybody else on, and Dom set up a special little intro we have to welcome them to the pod. Do you have it on yours, Dom?
I can grab it here in a second.
Oh, I got it right now. Here we go.
Got it?
Yep, here we go.
The PACT pod would like to welcome our special guest to the pod.
All right. Hello. How's everybody?
Good.
We've temporarily lost names. Let's go back. You got names on there?
Blind panel.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. We'll get that figured out. I don't know. All right. And I had a fancy little button, Dom, that said names, and now I just can't see it. So, all right. Well, let's go from left to right. So we've got, and left to right doesn't make sense for everybody. So let's go with Ryan.
All right. So I'm Ryann Bedoya. Do you want me to go through where I teach and everything right away?
We'll do where you teach, what you teach. Go ahead.
Okay. So I teach at the Nazareth School District. For the past few years, I was a 5th and 6th augmented virtual reality teacher, but this coming year, I'm actually going to be teaching tech and business at our high school. So big shift there, but I'm very excited.
All right, awesome. We'll go with Jess right now. My dog's barking, so I'm trying to mute in between. All right, Jess, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jess Seidl-Kim. I teach K-5 in the Baldwin-Whitehall School District. I am the STEAM and media teacher, so a combination of library, STEAM, tech, everything.
All right, excellent. Let me try switch and see if that's no, it still didn't give us the name. All right, and we got on the end Krissy.
Krissy Barnes. I teach at Abington School District, right in the Philly suburbs, go Southeast region. I am itinerant, so I move around to a few of the different elementary schools in the district. And this year we're starting a new class called Explorations. We're combining a little bit of project-based and hands-on learning. So I'll be teaching that K-5.
All right, awesome. I think we'll stick with that flow when we ask the question. We're going to kind of go around the horn. So I'll go ahead and kick it off. We got, what you teach. You already shared your grade level. So KTI, you were all first year KTI stars. Is that correct? Nobody applied and put their application in holding. No. So let's start with Ryan. What did you hear? How did you hear? Where did KTI come from in your life where you found out about it?
So I actually presented at Pete and C with my fellow tech teachers this past year. And while I was there attending sessions, I heard about KTI, and I kind of had the same experience that Melissa did. I was like, what is this? And as soon as like I learned more about it, I went back to my principal, Dr. Yannick, and I was like, oh my goodness, you need to nominate me for this. Like, I need to go. So that was really how I heard about, KTI.
All right, Jess.
So I was a first-year teacher at Baldwin, and all of a sudden was told I get to go to a board meeting because my principal nominated me for KTI. I had no idea what it was, hadn't heard of it, hadn't had any experience, and sort of similar to Melissa, that should have been in 2019, got canceled. I did the virtual one with COVID and then couldn't come last year, so I deferred till this year. So I really should have been there 3 years ago, but I'm kind of glad it all turned out this year, and really had never even heard of it until I was handed a certificate about it. So it's kind of cool.
All right, very cool. And last but not least, Miss Barnes.
Brandon Lutz is the Director of Innovation for Abington, and he's been there the last 2.5 years. Also a past PAUCT president. So at the beginning of last school year, he was talking to me all about KTI, and then also shared it with my principal. So Dr. Osborne ultimately nominated me for it, and I'm insanely glad he did.
All right, Don, what do we got next?
So everyone is pretty much new with PACT and KTI. What was like your big takeaway from KTI? What would you say was the big thing that you got to bring back to your classroom?
Well, let's see.
It doesn't have to be a specific tool. It could just even be.
That's like, what didn't I take away? Because it was like a life-changing experience. Well, just recently I found out. So I went to Nicole Hill's drone thing, and from there, because I'm trying to add some more technology into our high school, I just found out that I'm able to buy those drones as well. So I just got that news the other day, which I was super pumped about. So that was a big thing, like getting more experience with them and, getting to play around with all those different things. So it was fun.
Nice.
Very cool.
Right, yeah, that's the one thing it is. Sorry. You do get that hands-on experience. It's not just sitting in lectures. You actually get to interact and collaborate with people and actually get to try what people are discussing, which is nice.
Yeah, and it was great to have people there that have experience with those things and ask those questions that you don't get to like find out the answer to until like all of a sudden you have it and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do this. So it was great to have people there that had that experience already and bounce ideas off of them.
Jess?
Excellent. All right. So there was so much takeaway. Every time I hear the Prize Patrol song, I get pumped, it's the best part for sure. It was just the feeling, like I think, Dom, you were saying it, not quite a burnout, but everyone's stressed. It's been a long couple of years. Being able to, like was said, to meet with people, hear new ideas, get to try out new things. I think I'm also doing some drone stuff too. It's going to be awesome. They were a huge takeaway. I agree. But meeting like-minded people and being able to share ideas of people who maybe aren't in exactly your position, but in a similar position, and learning new ways to do things and setting up that network and just resetting for this school year, getting so excited that I have so many new ideas and a new outlook on teaching. So I think that was the biggest takeaway, is just the feeling of the excitement and bringing that all back into my classroom.
Awesome. There's gonna be a lot of drone flying this year. Okay. All right.
The names are back.
Yeah, you are magic. Good stuff, buddy.
It's the magic.
All right. All right, Krissy.
So my biggest takeaway, I have to agree with Jess there on the connections. I mean, already my phone is blowing up so much more than it ever did because of how many people I can reach out to and can reach out to me. And even when there was applications for grants in these last couple of weeks, like everybody's just been back and forth asking for advice and giving advice or shout outs to each other. And just that community that I left with, it was really the most amazing part, even on top of everything we learned about. And then we were given time to kind of work on some things. I don't want to give any like spoilers or verbiage there, but we were given time that we don't normally have as teachers. And a huge takeaway is what I was focusing on during my time, I'm going to be able to implement at the beginning of the school year. So I'm really excited that I focused on that because it's coming true.
Nice. Go ahead, Eric.
I was just gonna say the one thing down there not sharing, the most exciting part about it was when you got attacked by all these shirts on campus. When you first show up, I mean that is impressive stuff. The KTI crew comes out and meets you guys and greets you and scares you. So yeah, you were fired up, adrenaline pumping from the beginning.
Some of you were trying to steal our cars.
There were some nice cars.
Bruno yelled at me to get back in my car because I was
She-
like, I'm trying to help. They're like, no, sit back down.
Stay in the car.
You could get fired on day one, and you were working on trying to get me fired.
It would have been my fault. I'm sorry.
I just had too much in my car and random stuff was almost taken. I'm like, no, that doesn't need to go. It lives here.
Yeah.
Shady guy with a long beard and sunglasses. I can understand why you're leery of getting out of your car and giving them your keys.
Mm-hmm. Not in Central PA. I didn't have a buggy with me, so I was good. All right, Don, what do we got next?
Well, before I get into that, I want to piggyback on what Krissy said. Friday, whenever I was running back and forth, getting ready to head out, I was kind of eavesdropping on some of the teachers talking as they were going from the dorm to breakfast into the sessions. And there were a number of groups talking about, hey, I want to keep in touch after because it was the last day of KTI. I want to keep in touch. Let's keep talking. And then a couple teachers were like, hey, maybe we could do you're a grade level or two older or close in age to my grade level. Maybe we could have our classes right back and forth and collaborate on projects even from a distance. And it was nice seeing that community being built, not just teacher-wise, but also working to get the students collaborating with others and getting them used to interacting with others in an appropriate fashion. So it's pretty cool. It was just like the background, kind of like lurking and hearing these conversations. We listen when you guys don't think you're listening.
Well, so to tie Melissa in here, because I know we haven't asked her any questions recently. So one of the coolest things I'll say is we always say this every year. How many of you before this event have ever been a part of a Twitter chat? No. Okay, so 0 for 3. Melissa, were you a part of a Twitter chat?
Yeah.
Yep. So what we always talk about, when we're sharing with the new lead learners, we say, the weirdest thing's going to be when, 80 to 100 teachers with the lead learners, we're at 120-ish, have their faces buried in a phone or on a computer in the cafeteria. And the college kids who are usually doing that are like, what's going on here? This is the weirdest thing, right? So you were all exposed to that. One cool thing I just want to make sure I give Melissa props for, because Scott and I kind of sat at the high table off and we were just watching. And when it kicked off, she was like, ooh, at one table, going over a couple things. Boom, pop to another table. So she was like, in that scenario, just killing it, making sure everybody was comfortable doing what they do. Even to the point where I looked at, Scott, who's the KTI chair. I said, I'm feeling pretty guilty. We should probably get up and move around a little bit, help people out. What do you think? I don't know. We're just kind of flies on the wall watching. But so talking about that. So I'll start with you, Melissa, because this isn't on your notes. So I'm hitting you all with something that's off the notes. But about that KTI chat, what were your thoughts going through? Again, you kind of have a little bit more experience. What was that like?
Well, I got to say first that I think, Krissy, what you guys having the Zoom meeting was that there's been a lot of cool things happening on Twitter with stars from this year. And we've had, Jen and I hosted a gamification with a bunch of stars that we just all said, hey, we're all doing a gamification. Who wants to be a part of it? And I saw there was a group that met, I think this morning, that I was like, this is cool. This is what it's about. So Twitter has been the cool tool to keep us connected. So teaching that, I remember hearing one woman say, as one of the stars was like, you're not going to bully me into getting Twitter. And we're like, you're going to want Twitter. Trust me, because it's a way to stay connected with stars and PACT. Not to mention, you find other things like math or STEM or the drones, you'll find people to follow and you'll get some great ideas. So I was trying to encourage that because it's something that will keep going. Our KTI chat that is it Brian that does Brad does every month, and I do a math chat that I'm a part of that is really cool. And Teach Like a Pirate. There's a bunch of chats that I like to do or I'll stalk them if I miss it. I'll go back and stalk the hashtag. But such an important tool to keep connected. So it was exciting to help a couple tables out. Thanks, Eric, for props.
All right, Ryan, what were your thoughts about that KTI chat?
It was very fast paced. So but it was
Isn't that
good
crazy?
because especially like my table of friends that I was sitting with, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm a question behind. So like we were all like helping each other too, like stay on task and make sure we were getting the right one. But I thought it was great. And like, I remember a few years ago when I got Twitter, I was like, this is just not, for me, like whatever. But now, especially too, after KTI, there's so many more people I'm following, and like everybody here, I think I follow on Twitter too. So like, it's great to have those connections and like being able to talk to people also with the chat in real time and getting that feedback and everything. It's great.
Jess, your thoughts?
So I was collecting Twitter handles like Pokemon the whole week of KTI. Everybody was like, "Oh, I'll follow you. I'll take yours. I'll follow you." It was hard. I'm a foodie, so like trying to eat and keep up with the Twitter chat was an adventure. I thought it was really cool. I feel like I needed to do one or two more to really keep up, like you were saying, with the pacing and things. That it was coming fast, and I don't think I expected that. So I was too busy reading what other people were saying and be like, "Oh, I missed that one." So I had to keep up with what was being posted, and then, like you were saying, Melissa, go back and stalk afterwards to see what was being said. I was trying to watch in real time and learn quickly. Like, you just got to keep up with the questioning and then go back and look. But it was fun to try.
Highly recommend using TweetDeck when you're doing that, because then you can have multiple columns open. And
I heard about that after the fact from some awesome stars, and I was like, "Where were you half an hour ago? That would have been really awesome."
All right, Krissy, what was your experience there?
I agree. Very fast paced. Same thing. I'm like, oh, that person's answer was awesome. Follow. Oh no, I need to go back and wait. Question. Follow. All of that. But I also liked that it was so fast paced, because normally I try to be extremely thoughtful about every one of my answers and take a while and reword. And there, if you wanted to participate and you wanted to answer, it was like, whatever I just thought up right now is what I'm typing, and I don't care, like, so you had to commit to just that first thought and go. And I really liked that kind of style of sharing.
And I know we created, so I know I believe Dom shared about Wakelet before on one of our episodes. And so we used Wakelet in the back, and one of the features is you could pull in a hashtag, Twitter handle, and it'll pull down. And we were able to use that to send to our sponsors to say, hey, thank you for sponsoring. Here's the interaction with your Twitter handle or hashtags. And that goes to Melissa doing a lot of the social media for the KTI crew. But it was a little over 1,100 tweets were sent during the week total by all the campers. So you figure it was about, I think when it was all said and done, about 115, maybe 120 on campus total. So, I mean, 1,000 tweets sent about different things is a lot, and especially because there's not a lot of downtime, so there was a lot, even that fast-paced moment of how that is. And I always joke about Twitter, man. It's rough for Italians. It's 180 characters. Like, I got to tie one hand behind my back so I can make sure I hit the number count. What about you, Dom?
It's hard because we talk with our hands and we're trying to type while we're talking, and it's a mess. I'll do TweetDeck.
Put Twitter on either phone.
Yeah, I run with like my iPad to read, and then I'm typing on one, reading on another device, even with TweetDeck going. Because
it was the goose chase, trying to keep up with all the different tweet to this person and tweet out that and tweet with someone and tweet to someone. I've never tweeted so much in my life.
Well, we did pull the goose chase. I can't remember. I think that number is like 800 with all the goose chase Twitter action. But yeah, we'll have to pull that down then. So it was definitely very cool. So a lot of awesome stuff. Let's talk about, for all of you, just how would you describe KTI? Like, what, in your synopsis of going through the week, how would you describe this experience? So we'll go. We didn't ask this one to Melissa, I don't believe. So we'll save Melissa for the end. We'll start with Ryan.
So I don't think that I've ever been in a room with so many people that have the same like passion about education and doing what's best for kids. And it was just one of those things that if you're like, you need that jolt, like that'll do it for you. Because like everybody else said, it was like a life-changing, thing, having all of those positive experiences and having everybody feel the exact same way you do. And I can't even honestly say that there was really like any negativity at all because, especially after COVID, like a lot of stuff was getting us down as educators, and it was just nice to be in a space where everything was honestly positive and uplifting.
Awesome. I agree. All right. Jess?
I can't say much different. I would have definitely said the culture. I mean, I tried every day at lunch or dinner to take a walk and like just decompress for a little while. And I called my mom and trying to explain to her what we were experiencing when you're coming in and you guys are cheering and you guys kept saying, fail forward types of things, just creating that growth mindset in that space of, hey, it's a great space to share ideas, meet people, throw out your wildest problems, and someone was there to help you with anything you could think of and have solutions or at least ideas. It was incredible to be in a room full of people that were just giant problem solvers, and just it was the most fun I've had in a long time. It was a great time.
That's even with college food. All right.
Yes.
I was impressed.
This year from what my
Yeah,
understanding
much
was-
better than last year.
All right, Krissy. Hope I didn't steal your food answer. All right, go ahead.
Right? Not having to feed myself or worry about planning dinners for my family truly possibly was the best part.
Yes.
But if we're not talking about the food part, I was trying to figure this out because even when I wanted my principal to come for the day that administrators would come, he was like, oh no, there's no way, I'm not ed tech. And that intimidates a lot of people. So I was trying to figure out how to describe this to my school. And I was like, okay, it's the best professional development you've ever been to with a cult following. And it really is just like, it changes your life. Like the cheering, like Jess was just saying, like there's dancing, prizes, games, competitions, social events, killer guest speakers. Like you're interacting with the best ed tech that's out there right now. Like you're given time to work on something. Like I said, like I walked out with a new best friend. Shout out to Andy Fellows there. But like you get all these different people, you cry, you laugh so hard it hurts. Like, I don't know how else to describe KTI other than it really is amazing and exhausting.
All right, Melissa, coming from the star thing. Or were you say something, Jess?
Yeah, I thought of something that she was saying, that we keep saying like everybody being in the same room was like-minded, but I really liked meeting, like I ended up teaming up with a high school Spanish teacher at one point and a middle school music teacher. And I expected to meet all ed tech people. And it really was people who use technology to increase student engagement, but it was cool to get really, I never thought I'd meet a high school Spanish teacher and like find a lot of things we do in common. So it was really neat that we were all similar, but had very diverse backgrounds at the same time.
That's a great point. All right, Melissa.
Well, they all had great answers, and I would, ditto each one. But I gotta say, I live in a small district. It's not like super, super small, but there's not a tech coach. And I happen to like tech, and so I kind of jumped on the Google bandwagon, a couple years into my. I've only been teaching for 9 years, but I was an island, and it got lonely. It gets very lonely. And so when I went to KTI and I was like, you mean there's other elementary teachers here that like tech as much as I do? Like, it was great. Like, and that's, it's just needed. You need that community, you need that, the KTI family to say, okay, you're not weird. You are, you're welcome and you can be part of us. So that was the biggest thing, on top of being the best professional development and blah, blah, blah. But yeah.
Oh, awesome. There's so much to unpack in what there is. What's also really cool is not only was it the week with you all, but for some of us, like other than being like we were head and shoulders, we were on Zoom all the way up till we physically saw everybody at Pete and C just for those couple days. But that's the first time for us all to meet. Like we try to meet and do a lunch Sunday, get onto campus. Monday, and even Sunday night, it's trying to set up what we can. And then you hit the ground running Monday, and we're prepping for everything. And then for all of your arrivals. And so I like, behind the baseballs with our private chat, somebody made a reference when Melissa was talking. They referenced the fact that they had no idea this was her first year because of the way she did and, conducted herself, the way she was working and all the stuff she was doing. and that's a credit to her 100%. And it's so cool that we have those people that's what it becomes, and there's a gelling that happens with our lead learners. And it's funny, I don't know if whatever, I'm like Mr. Like I like to observe kind of from the back as things are going on, and see how that gel happens. And there is a gel that happens with all of our campers, and it's different every year, and it's unique, and it's awesome. Like it's just so cool. Like we've had so many different experiences. Oh, maybe Melissa's internet might have popped out. And it's just such a cool experience the way that just organically occurs. It's not like we're trying to force it. And it's so cool just to see that. And like you said, to get that excitement, that bump. You got her, Dom. Oh, Dom. Oh, he hit himself. That's what I did earlier. And it's just so cool to see that experience and how that goes. So, and it really is. It's kudos to the people that are there, and I love that fact that you have that feeling. So, joking about the cult thing, all the purples being worn, I still stuck with my PACT shirt. So, I couldn't quickly find my KTI shirt, my pile stack of shirts. So I pulled out my KTI crew. But what's really cool is in February we have Pete and C. Currently, we have RFP open for presentations. I'm in that procrastination mode. I got 1 out of 3 submitted. The other ones are still I'm working on. Welcome back, sir. And
sorry about that.
No, you're good. And Pete and C is an awesome time for us all to physically head, shoulders, knees, and toes see each other again. This year it's in Kalahari, and definitely a cool experience. Hoping some school districts are more open to sending people to conferences this year than they may have in the years past. And what's really exciting about that is we do have a KTI day. Message will go out on Twitter. Hey, purple shirts, see each other, and then and that's cool. But the great thing is, I want people to go over and be like, why? What's with the purple shirt? So you all can share, and you basically we become KTI evangelists and sharing about the program and go back and talk to your principals. But then the other cool thing is we do a KTI purple bag brigade and we go hit the vendor floor, because one of the cool things and one of my jobs I've been fortunate to have the last couple of years is doing prize patrol and being able to give teachers, and 100%, well, we'll say 99.9%, because a cape did disappear, and 3 pairs of socks for my daughters did disappear from the prize patrol stack. But that was stuff we got at ISTE in New Orleans, so maybe it was Southwest, we don't know. But almost 100% of everything that comes in goes out to teachers, because we got to beg, borrow, and steal sometimes to get stuff for our classrooms. But when you're excited about something, we want to put it in your hands and have you go use it. So that's what's so cool, and that's what's neat about it. Just being able to acknowledge you, celebrate you, have you leave with not only knowledge, hopefully some physical items that are really cool. So it's truly an awesome experience. So as we're kind of closing out our time here, anything to add there, Dom?
No, I missed part of the conversation, so I am a little bit behind. I apologize.
Gotcha. You're good. All right, so we're gonna go. We'll go around for closing thoughts. So one thought I had was, education technology enthusiasts in districts. Maybe there's advice for them. It doesn't have to be KTI related, PHT related, Twitter related. Oh, I was gonna share a Twitter story at ISTE. I was at the of course, Dom loves when I tell him I'm hanging out with my Microsoft people. And I was seated at a table for a luncheon, and there was 3 engineers from Microsoft from their Redmond campus. And the one woman, like, she went from like Secretary of Education of some other country, and now she's working like as an engineer at Microsoft. And of the 3, only one had Twitter, and he didn't feel it was very useful. The other 2, I badgered a lot nicely, and we set up Twitter on the spot, and they all found me by the 3rd day of ISTE to thank me because of all the interactions they were able to have. So it is powerful, and what's really cool is a lot of these companies, their engineers are out there, and it's immediate feedback. I don't have to click help. It doesn't have to go into a queue. It doesn't have to take forever to get down to Dom to be able to fix a problem. They're interacting. So it was really cool how it was highlighted about really how powerful Twitter is becoming, not only just in the education community, but the fact that we can talk to the people that are making the products we love so much, and the fact that they're listening. So that is a cool thing about Twitter. But we'll go with
I want to know the superhero powers. Didn't you ask me the powers?
Yes, we didn't ask them the superhero
Oh, did we not?
powers.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Well,
that's my fault. My internet dropped, and I didn't get to ask the question.
Melissa, I love it. So based on that, let's see. All right, we'll go with Jess to start off with. Jess, we're gonna mix it up. Superpower. Do you have this one written down?
No, it's in my brain. That's my superpower. Superpower, both in life and in the classroom, is I try to bring a ray of sunshine everywhere. And whether that's just someone's having a bad day and making it better, or just making things a little more fun and exciting for kids. I'm the crazy, will wear a costume, backwards, whatever, crazy hair day, anything, just to make things fun and exciting. So, and that's in my general life and in the classroom. So I just try to bring fun, crazy excitement. I am the worst dancer in the world. They've taught me every TikTok dance you can think of, and they do not come out the way they're supposed to, but I'll keep on trying, anything to make them smile, make my kids' days just a little bit better.
All right, we'll go with Krissy.
I had a different one picked out before, but truly probably my superpower is just being a hot mess in the classroom all the time. I lose every single thing. They point out where my coffee is, where my pen is, where everything is. And just, I feel like they celebrate when I'm like, guys, I actually planned out this lesson. I know what I'm doing. And we all cheer and everything. And just being a hot mess in front of them all of the time makes mistakes happen so naturally and become celebrated in my classroom. And we talk about just making mistakes loudly. That became kind of a cheer this year, just for how often we mess up. And it was fantastic to see kids just taking risks that I don't think they would have otherwise, thanks to me being a hot mess.
So that's important.
Go ahead, Dom. Keep going.
I have honors classes, and students are afraid to, well, how does this look? I'm like, I could read it. It looks good. Like, well, what about? I'm like, would you like me to grade it? No. They're afraid of losing a point. They're afraid of making a mistake, and it's like, it's okay. You're allowed to make mistakes, and a lot of students don't realize that, or they're afraid to show any kind of vulnerability in front of others, and it's, I like making mistakes too all the time. In fact, I did that intentionally. Like, okay, we get extra credit if we catch them. I'm like, no, because too many kids will get extra credit. Like, it's just
all of them.
Seeing if you're paying attention.
Well, so first of all, I tell the kids the only reason why they're in my classroom is because they're really good at finding coffee mugs and papers that teachers set down, like computers. Like, that's why you're here. It has nothing to do with any ability whatsoever. You can find and seek. And then the unfortunate thing is, one of the principals that actually came to the school, she actually teaches at a school that my daughters went to. She knows me because if she'll see me every so often on a Friday morning, and I'll be at the local donut shop here buying donuts, and she'll look at me and she'll say, Eric, what mistake did you make in your math class this week? Because if I forget to give something back, I owe the kids something. Like, I pay them in donuts, so it's hilarious. And even the ladies that work the counter, when they see me on Friday, they just shake their head and say, all right, what is it this time? So it's hilarious. So anyway, mistakes are meant to happen. Failing forward is our motto. All right. Now, Ryan, do we have are you a donut superpower person or no?
Well, so I was trying to think about this. I went with the first thing that came to my mind. And this goes with, like, in the classroom, working with technology all the time and being a mom, winging it. I feel like winging it is my superpower because things go wrong all the time, especially working with tech and, being a parent. All of a sudden things go wrong and you just got to pause and pivot and figure out something else. And somehow it's worked out for me. So that, I believe, is my superpower that I can wing it.
Awesome.
Now here's the important final part to close it out. So Melissa's a cape person. We know that. If you know Edna from The Incredibles. Why am I playing The Incredibles? Cape or no cape. All right. So we'll go back around. So we're gonna go reverse order. Ryan, cape or no cape?
So I'm a big Disney fan, as I think some of you who know me know that. And I got to go with Edna and no capes.
Ooh, okay. All right. We got 1 and 1. Okay. It's going to be a split crew. There's going to be a fight in the green room, Dom. All right. Jess, what do you got?
Oh, cape all the way, like flaming, giant, crazy, flying in the air cape.
All right. Love it. All right. Last but not least, Krissy, what do you got?
3 in the classroom and the footy pajama Superman set with the cape. So just capes all the way.
There you go. All right. Good stuff. All right. Don, what do you think? Do we have any more? Keep them on the hot seat. What do we got?
Well, I do want to bring up, we do have a special guest amongst this group. For those of you who aren't aware, Mama Keystone was a very special person, and we lost her a couple years, a year or so ago, and we decided to choose one learner who embodied her values the best, and most of the people there really follow in her footsteps. But we do hand out an award now every year, and I'm kind of tearing up as I talk about this. We do have this year's Rosie Award winner.
Yeah, so before we announce who on the panel it is, always like to give you that backyard baseball look. Day one, we get asked the question. So after the whole day happens, our whole crew, right, Melissa, we go back and we have a staff meeting for about another hour, hour and a half. And because, again, there's a lot to plan and you all are worth it, and that's why we do it. And day number one, night number one was, okay, Rosie Award. Any names? And on night one, it was just way too many people, way too many good. It was a struggle. No names go on the board. Day number two, I think we had 6 names on the board. And then go day 3 as it goes. And I'm going to tell you right now, right down to the final, all those names were on the board. And it was a conversation. And everybody, I believe, everybody went to all those to let them know if they were or weren't on the board, because there was a large group. And I will say that number's high. You know, obviously the number's everybody when it first starts and as it whittles down, but it was an awesome number. Phenomenal. So the one who kind of rose to the top, Dom, would be
Jess.
Yes. It was excellent.
It was incredible.
So let's go through what did you receive for that, and what do you think you're going to be doing with that prize?
So in addition to the award, it comes with a personal grant to use in my classroom, and I'm intending to buy drones with it. I put in I guess I didn't really need a proposal to my administrators. It's sort of my choice, but I wanted to make sure it aligned with our district's ideals and things like that. So I kind of narrowed it down. I'm looking at the Tello drones, and I've sent an email to all of my admin. We've had some flex clerical days, and we're hoping in the next week or so to settle down and kind of solidify the whole plan. But that's my goal, and I'm going to, no pun intended, pilot them with my 3rd graders this year. And just go through like Eric had us do on STEM night, just go from one launching pad to the other, add in a flip, things like that. And then I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I'm going to attempt to build a Quidditch pitch set, and they're going to fly them through the little things. My poor husband is going to be building me some nice pitches, I hope, but that's sort of the plan. I just wanted something different that I knew would really make a difference. And drones are cool. Kids like them, but I like them to see STEAM type things as not toys, but tools. And I thought that was a great thing to showcase to my students that, hey, you might see this as a toy, but really this is no different than the other robots we code. And this is actually being used by Amazon and other places. And this is a real device, not a toy. So we can talk about some real world implications and hopefully scale it up someday to maybe we can 3D print something and it delivers a package across the classroom or something like that. So starting with some simple challenges, hopefully this year, and growing it into a real world application type learning experience.
Oh, that's awesome. The Parrot Mambo, I think, does have a projectile shooter. So that could work for your thing. I think it comes with it. We have to check into that. Sometimes that's when you take away from the kids, but with what you're doing, you may want to encourage that. And I don't know, did you ever have a chance to meet Mama Keystone, Rosie? No. So the cool thing about her was the first time I really got to hang out with her was, what was it? ISTE 2015. And it was just so wild watching Kathy Schrock walk down this big long corridor. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like Schrock's guide was like the thing that you had to read. And she was like the it. And Rosie, Mama, she looks at me and she goes, oh, are you looking over at Kathy? I go, Kathy Schrock, yeah. And she's like, oh, okay. Hey, Kathy, come on over here. Oh, Rosie, Papa comes over. And then after that, it was just like Will Richardson. I mean, she was just going down the line. I mean, it was like the who's who of ed tech were just coming over, talking to her, and she's like, back in the day we ran the circuit, so, but she would absolutely flip over using that money for drones, pulling it into your classroom. The bins that she had of all the different STEAM stuff, she loved drones that was just coming on, and she was always talking about ways to use that in her classroom. So that's a cool way to honor her.
I won one of her Autobot sets too, and I just set up my whole tech corner, got them all plugged in today, so that was pretty cool to get them all. I had my grandma sitting in my classroom with me, and I was like, these are the robots I want, showing her how they work.
Oh, that's awesome.
Pretty cool. But I just, again, want to say thank you to both KTI and PAECT because it meant a lot to me, so thanks again.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, we've kept you for a rather long time, about an hour or so. So I truly appreciate all of you being here. We truly appreciate you being members. You're definitely active on the social media circuits and all the different ways that you're interacting and getting phones blown up and replying and just enriching the lives of everybody for EdTech. But the most important part is when you're doing that, you are truly doing what you can positively for the students. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate all of you. So I'm going to dismiss 3. And we still have one person on the hot seat. Is that correct, Dom?
Yes. It's not like you're in detention, Melissa, but we're keeping you after class.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies. I truly appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see you at an event. Hopefully at, up in Kalahari at Pete and see if you're able to make it. And I would love to see your names in that pool for lead learners.
Thank you guys for having us.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you for joining us. Take care.
All right. And whittle it down. What have you done this time, Melissa? All right, Melissa, I do believe we're going to put you front and center here to talk about this thing here. Dom, did you get yours? Do you have yours?
Yes.
So the cool thing about this year, and I'm going to let Melissa do most of the talking, is all of our lead learner or all of our KTI members and lead learners did receive a copy of this book. Can you tell us more about the book and what PACT is planning on doing?
Sure. So at Pete and C, in 2021, we had guest keynote speaker Greg Bear, and he is co-author of the book that the gentleman were just holding up. And following Pete and C, Jen Tooney and Tracy Andrews had this great idea and approached Dom about doing a book study. And it was a life-changing experience for all of us. And so we decided, since all of the KTI stars received one, we would offer the book study again this fall. So it will be held on Mondays at 7 p.m. from October 3rd through November 7th. And I'm hoping to invite either Greg or co-author Ryan, who is a former teacher, to join us on one of the last Zooms as well. The information can be found on the PACT website. So I'm super excited about that.
Awesome. I just found their site here, whenyouwonder.org. Has some different information in here that people can look into it. And I know you were a part of the first run. And what drove you to kind of be a part of that book study at that time?
Well, Jen is just this magnetic personality. So I just wanted to be part of anything she and Tracy were doing. And just wanted to keep that momentum from Pete and C going. And the book focuses on the lessons that Fred Rogers had in his career and his ministry on his TV show. And it was transformative. Like, one of the things that I've taken away that I will be implementing is I'm going to be spending the first 2 weeks of my school year getting to know my learners and building those relationships. So that is my big takeaway from the book, but also just listening deeply and asking questions and encouraging kids to wonder and really learn. So super, super awesome book, and not just for teachers, but for parents. So I just wanted to continue the discussion, because I'm sure reading it again, I will pull even more information out of their quotes from Mr. Rogers and, their own experience, their own research. It's kind of our back door, Dom, where they have a lot of anecdotals from Pittsburgh and the surrounding area, the remake learning events that kind of birthed out of Greg's foundation that he runs, and just a really amazing the remake learning events, the book, all the foundations that they talk about are quite amazing.
And there's a lot of organizations they talk about, because this remake learning started in the Pittsburgh area, and then it has since become international.
Yes.
They have,
and I led an event in my school last spring too.
Yes, you guys really. That's why I said I took issue when you said you're just doing a little bit, because you guys, the original book study was your idea, and then you're following up and stepping forward with this, because you guys actually ran that book study. You set everything up, and we just kind of gave you support in the background, and you guys stepped forward as leaders and ran with things. And I appreciate you, accepting the offer to do this and run it with the new KTIs. The format is interactive. It's not a lecture format, and actually you encourage other people to step up and assist and actually be a co-lead learner throughout the process, correct?
Yeah, just to facilitate the discussion. We had a back channel discussion through Google Jamboard and the Zoom chat as well. But it was neat because we actually had an out-of-state member who had never really heard of PAECT, but that just like, hey, saw this on Twitter and thought I'll be a part of it. And so it was a lot of people from around the state and out of state. And it was just a really neat conversation. And like you said, participants stepping up to facilitate the discussions. That was really cool.
Yeah, I was able to make most of the books, sessions. I couldn't make all of them because of family commitments and such. But that's the nice thing about it. You do get Act 48 credit for the sessions you participate in, but you don't. It's not a commitment like where something comes up. It's not a class. You're not going to get downgraded. But it is a good thing to get in, and it's a good conversation to be a part of.
Yeah, it's amazing. Creativity, communication, like those 4 C's and much more. It digs deep. So
Yes.
pretty excited about it again. And to keep those connections happening with PAECT members is really important.
And I've kept my notes from the discussions, because there's ideas and things pop up, and as I think Jess was saying earlier, she was talking with a high school Spanish teacher. She's like, well, I didn't think I'd have anything in common, but there was stuff that teacher was using that she could adjust to her classroom. And I like sitting there and like, oh, that sounds neat. I could pull that into my history classroom, turn it around and be able to use it. So I was, taking notes, pushing notes off to the side, and I want to try this, I want to try that, and getting some ideas to like kind of put on the back burner and research more. Like, I want to see if I can fit this into my class.
I don't know, Melissa. You might have to rule. We need to vote this. Does Dom get to keep the notes from the last session? I think a paper shredder needs to be in his future. I think he needs to start fresh. Should he use stale notes? I don't know.
He needs a rocket book.
I'm not going to use them in this session. I will come up with new notes.
I have a daughter going to college tomorrow, and so I said, "Do you want like a rocket book? Or are you a typer? Like, I'm a writer. I'm like that. I want to make sketch notes and write it out, and then I take a picture of my rocket book and put it on my phone, and then I can erase it."
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't think we had any new rocket books come out this year. I think last year the attendees got rocket books.
Yes.
But usually, the only complaint I'll have about being a lead learner is the amount of money I've spent on rocket books. I'm saying that quietly so no other people in the house hear this. So, but the crazy part is when I was dropping my daughter off for college, we were hitting the local Walmart to grab some stuff for her dorm room that we didn't have. And there was an end cap space, and it was the rocket book. And I'm like, I'm going to take a picture. And they're like, what are you doing? You're taking a picture of notebooks. I go, these don't exist in stores. You got to get them online. I was so geeking out. It was so funny.
That's fun.
But yes, we've covered the rocket book. We love the rocket book. There's a minor KTI addiction known as rocket book. I don't even know syndrome. We love it.
As soon as I got home last summer, I had to buy one for my teaching partner and my husband. So.
Yeah.
I am bummed that they got rid of the paper rocket book, because I print the paper, but I love writing. Eric got me hooked on fountain pens, and you can't use a fountain pen in the you know,
Right.
erasable rocket books. But so I print the paper up in my class, and I have my kids using them for notes, and I'll use that so I can use my fountain pen on paper, then scan it up to notes.
We'll make sure his notes this year in the book are written. I'm excited. I will join the book study this year. I didn't do it last year, so I'm excited for that. Now I was looking. So here's the question for you. I was trying to pull up and be all cool and suave and have our PACT calendar, but I don't think it's on there yet. So did you say when it was starting? Because I was looking when you did, so I was being a bad student trying to multitask.
Yes, the first Monday in October to the first Monday in November, if that's helpful. So October 3rd to November 7th. We thought it'd be September is so busy for teachers. We'll just get a month under our belts, 6 weeks under your belt, and then dive into the book study on Monday nights. And
if it's not on the website yet, I will make sure it gets on the website over this weekend.
One of my star friends, Ryan Krenzer, and this past year, star Emily Trace, who teach in the same building, are gonna co-facilitate with me the first few, and then hopefully we'll have some other participants jump in to facilitate a discussion.
We have some of the people still in the green room. Hint, hint. This is a great way to kind of get your feet wet if you're planning on being the lead learner, to kind of test the waters in practice, which you do that anyway with your students, but this is a way just to kind of step up. And I always say I get more nervous talking to my peers than I do in front of the students.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that's a great point just to even expound upon. Like I love the way you set it up where the student can become the teacher, right? Like they can step up, they can do that. But honestly, in our organization, there's so many times where somebody will make a reference to, oh, well, I'm just not sure how to get involved. And I look at him and I say it in a nice way. I don't mean it in a mean way. I'm like, well, I don't know how you can not get involved. If you go to any of the regional directors or out-of-state coordinators, say, I'm interested in doing X, I'm interested in doing Y, I'm interested in doing Z, and they deem that's great for kids, it's a yes. Like, yeah. Like now, if it's like, oh, well, I know something else is coming down the pike, like, there's other things, but I know we do put this on the bottom of the screen. Let me put it up here. The regional directors, we meet in once every few weeks. We meet at State College. We just had our board meeting, and where there's some of us Friday, but then all day Saturday and about half day Sunday before we leave to head back to our real lives. And they work really hard at putting together this list of PD events. So bit.ly, and then if you know bit.ly, capitalization is huge. Capital is PAECT, and then lowercase events, EVENTS. So if you type bit.ly / capital PAECT, lowercase EVENTS into your browser, hit it. It'll give you a list in our glide show with our Adobe Spark page and the way it's set up, and it'll show you everything going on around the state, out of state. And this is a great way to see different opportunities. And if you don't see something, add it in there. I do know what's really exciting is in our South Central area. So before stepping in as VP, I was a regional director. We had at one point in 1 year, I sponsored 7 ed camps just in our region alone. And again, how Melissa referenced how big the our geographic stretch is. There's some great territory, and those are kind of coming back online. But if there's something going on, if you are even thinking, you know what, in my district, I'd love to do this for my people, and you need, I loved giving out Starbucks, coffee gift cards. Here's 10 $5 gift cards. Here's 4 $10 gift cards. Use them as prizes. Hey, you showed up first, or you got 3 people that showed up. Okay, here's 3. You get them. Tell everybody else when there's coffee cards here. You're gonna get more people out, and then they're learning new tools, and it's better for kids in the end. So, a lot of different ways. So I love the way you all set that up, and that's super cool. So I'm very excited that it's a great opportunity for our KTIs to right away get their feet wet, meet other PACT members, and keep that ball rolling. It's huge. All right, anything to add? Melissa, ending notes on that?
No, but thank you so much for having me on. It was such a fun time, and I do appreciate you both. I think you're both amazing educators and amazing men, so thanks.
Thank you.
Did you send her the check already, Dom? Did you send it? Did you get her Venmo?
Gift cards? Starbucks gift cards in the mail. We
could write those
I don't have a Starbucks near me.
Oh.
I know.
All right,
I'll go back up to the mailbox and grab them.
Ship them back. Well, I guess one thing that popped into my head as we were closing out there, after taking in all the accolades. Hold on. Okay. Melissa, wasn't there? I'm trying to think. The Bear Foundation. Am I saying it right? Had grants that they gave, and they awarded how many grants? Do you remember? I think it was 25. Am I wrong?
20 or 25.
And I think they were about $250 per grant for people that submitted.
I can't remember the details, honestly. But yeah, there was quite a list, and grants were given based on the 4 C's and the Fred method, the Fred Rogers.
So if you're listening to this pod in your car, we love it. We're available anywhere you listen to podcasts. If you're watching it on YouTube and you just heard that and you're like, ooh, I totally submitted something during KTI, go to the KTI PACT Facebook page, go to the Keystones PA, at Keystones PA and at PACT. On those Twitter pages, we did post a image with those people who did win. Their awards were, their I guess grants were approved, and the monies were going. And I love the fact that when Greg was there, he signed everybody's copy of the book. And his first question was, tell me about yourself. And the cool thing was we gave away something. I am forgetting what it is for the life of me. But he was like, oh, he was the 7th person that came up to my table, and he was wearing this shirt. And I'm like, holy moly, there was like 60 people in line to get book signed, and he knew exactly the person whose name was pulled that won. I forget what it was that we were giving out, but definitely very cool. So it's a great organization, the Remake Learning. We've had them on here. We love what they're doing. And thank you so much for everything that you're doing for your region, for the book study, for Remake Learning, and most importantly, Melissa, thank you for what you're doing for your students.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And before you go, I have one more question for you.
Bonus.
Since
bonus
you
round.
You don't have a Starbucks by you, but do you have a Sheets? And is it a big Sheets or an old school tiny Sheets?
We have like 3 Sheets within 10-minute drive from me.
Oh wow!
And
So
the one they just tore down so they can rebuild it and sell, the things that formerly weren't allowed to be sold in Pennsylvania. But yes, definitely have Sheets. Do have a Dunkin', but I'm happy with my coffee from home. I don't know. I'm not fussy.
All right, make sure you email Dom how many slushy machines they have. It's important information.
Oh, is that his mission?
That's it. That's what we're figuring out. The slushy counts in Sheets. All right, and for some of our PACT board members listening, that was for you. All right. Thank you so much, Melissa. We truly appreciate you, and you have a lovely beginning of your school year.
Thanks, you guys too.
Thanks. Take care, Melissa.
All right, big man. That's good stuff. A lot of good stuff going on. All right, let's.
A lot of good activity with the new members.
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to show here, I really want to take just a second to show and truly thank our KTI sponsors. We had several sponsors from venture sponsor EduSpire that works to promote the whole program, and then we kind of work down the line for there. We have corporate council members of PACT that also take part. So we've got Bloom, we've got ClassLink in there. We have some specific sponsor events. So specifically for KTI itself, we had Skillstruck come in first year. DRC's kind of stepped in. Actually, I think they're a corporate council member, forgive me. And we had Max Cases step in. So a lot of great organizations. Let's go ahead and take some time. Just if you recognize these logos, reach out to them, thank them. They're great sponsors for PACT and KTI. And of course, is that up there? I did forget Sam Labs. Sam Labs has some awesome stuff. And Fred's the one vendor we deal with Sam Labs. He is awesome. He comes out. He's been with us for many years. And the coolest thing I've seen done was them using the string connected to bananas, and they're playing the piano music. Have you seen that one, Dom?
No, I've not seen that.
Yeah, I keep trying to do it in my classroom, but the bananas disappear, and I end up with like stuff on my beard. But we won't talk about that. It's really good food, but yeah, they're able to use it in like the electric current, and it's really cool. So Sam Labs has got a lot of awesome stuff.
Nice.
Definitely. And then one thing I wanted to take time, we did have one sponsor that stepped up. Let me go ahead and cue this up here as I'm talking. And but they were not able to be there due to health issues in the family, but our Appalachian Brewing event where we have all sorts of we had trivia this year and the things that were going on, and one of our main sponsors for that night was Max Cases. So I'd like us to entertain about a 2 minute little video about Max Cases.
Sounds good.
All right, let me go ahead and put this on. I think I did the no sound, didn't I?
Yes. No sound.
Give me 1 second. All right, give me 1 second here. Technical difficulties in the back end. I blame Verno.
No, it's not you. It's just the equipment.
Oh, he had to go there. Nope, it's the nut behind the wheel, brother. It's the nut behind the wheel. Here we go. All right, now we should hear sound. Let's see. How are we? We better now?
Still not hearing audio.
Really, try number 2, huh? Try number 2 and still no go. All right, we're going to put that in post, Dom. What do you think? We'll do a little editing in the back
Yep.
end.
Put
All
that
right,
in the back
Max
end.
Cases.
Sorry about that.
Hey, it's all good. All right, Dom. Well, you know what? I think we have kept people very long, but there are important segments called Tech Notes that we do like to share.
Yes.
To share with teachers. So let's go ahead and let's kick them off with this lovely new intro you've created. So I'll go ahead and kick it off, and I think you're going to go first. Are you ready?
I'm just about ready. I'm going to fire my other camera.
All right, here we go.
Welcome to the PAECT Pod's Tech Notes, where we will discuss tech tools and how to implement them effectively using best practices in your classroom and in everyday life.
All right, Dom, I'll let you take the helm here.
Okay. Trying out my IPVO camera. See how that goes here. An app on my phone. I have a bunch of different app notes. The notes that come with my iPhone, LiveScribe, Rocketbook, Notability, Paper. But the one we're going to work on today works on any phone and it works on computers. It is the Google Keep. It is a free app. I love it. It allows me to stay organized as much as haphazard as I am. I have a little bit of organization built in. I keep my notes in there, ideas in there. I can do checklists. When I go to the store, I can make a little checklist that as I go through and I buy whatever I'm supposed to buy, I hit the box and the box checks it down and takes it off the list. I have, I have my list there. I've not gotten into bullet journals. I've looked into it, but I was spending more time making my bullet journals and actually accomplishing what was on my bullet journal list. But I know people that have used Google Keep for bullet journals because they can share it out with other people. I know when I make my shopping list, I can zip it to my wife. She is a Samsung user. She works in the Android field. But
what does she use, Tom? I'm sorry. And
Samsung.
There's a glitch. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But she likes the camera. I like the computer of the iPhone, and my camera's just as good as hers now. But I like, you go in, you can do. Let me slide this up here. You can create new lists, give them titles. If I go back, I can make a checkbox and give it a title, and you create the little check boxes as you type. You could paint, which my handwriting's bad, but you can scribble as needed. Go back some more. Audio notes, which is phenomenal. Although voice to text, that could because of my Pittsburghese. You can take photos, choose images. It's versatile. It's free, which is key. There's a lot of cool apps that you pay money for, but this is free, and you could share with other family members, other coworkers, with students. You can push things out. You can work collaboratively, and it also works on the computer. So it goes across platforms, goes across devices. It's free. It's very easy to use. That's why I like Google Keep, and I don't use it nearly as much as I could, like power wise. Except, but there's so many uses for it. It's just a good thing to have, and I'm going to stop sharing my computer. But it is nice having that tool. And I know Notes is very powerful. You use Notes on your iPhone to scan, documents now, images like that. But that's iPhone only. With Google Keep, it works regardless of the device you have, which I think is important because not everyone has the same device. Some people have gone over to the dark side and use Android versus, the Jedi Apple.
Blue pill, red pill. Hey, one thing that I do love, I do use Google Keep on occasion. One thing that I do love with my Galaxy Note is something that you'll never have with the Apple as of right now, is the ability to use a pen. So you were talking about that squiggly writing. You're able to go ahead and ink notes real quick and keep. It's great. Yeah, and definitely the ability. That's one thing that Google has way back when, to totally date myself, before Google Docs came to be, there was a company called Writely. And Writely was a online document editor, and Google bought that, and that's what transitioned into Google Docs. And so we were using that many, many moons ago when I was in the middle school. But their syncing in the back end, top notch by far. And that's something that a lot of the other organizations, other companies are trying to catch up and capture that ability. But yeah, Google's ability to do it that's good.
Now,
So Google Keep's a great product.
And I know, because you have your tablet computer, I forget which one it is. I always kid you about it, but you could write on your screen.
Yeah, the
my
Surface.
iPad. I would use my iPad and the Apple Pencil if I was going to use the handwriting feature, because that does tend to work. And even before I had before the Apple Pencil worked with my iPad, Brookstone had a very inexpensive stylus that worked, and I used to use that on my iPad for handwriting and such. So, from that I would go to the bigger device to use the handwriting feature. But it's fantastic. Sit there, type stuff up. My wife will type stuff up. She'll add to the list, and we can sync. Because it's always, you write on the little chalkboard we got as a present from a friend years ago on the fridge, and I type it into my phone because go to the store and I'm like, oh, I forgot. What was on the fridge? So I just type as I know.
Yep.
Or I'll sit further list and I'll transcribe like, hey, add this to the list, and we have it on our phone. So we split up and
divide and conquer.
Divide and conquer. We're good.
Yeah, and I will say, back in the day when I had the iPad, I was rocking that. I was a Kickstarter junkie for stylus, for Styli, and the amount of them that I have are just in a drawer that can't use anymore. And that's one thing that's a big switch over. Again, the Galaxy Note switch over was for the inking, and that's what the Surface addiction is. It's for the inking. Yeah. It's like they have a hashtag, I think in ink, and I just that is so true. So, all right, awesome stuff. I like it. Google Keep, man, that's a good one. That's a keeper.
Nice fun.
Hey, man.
What is your topic here, sir?
All right, so we're flipping over from Google, and we're going to kick back over to the Microsoft realm. So I had the fortune of attending ISTE, truly on behalf of PACT, and going and kind of fact finding, because next year ISTE is going to be in Philadelphia. So we did a lot of work as far as talking to different vendors, kind of strategizing. But I did take the time. So I am a Microsoft Innovative Educator trainer. We talk to Minecraft Global Mentor. So do a lot of things in that realm. And as we were talking earlier, the crazy thing is my district in my building is 1-to-1 Chromebook. And what's really great is obviously the Google stuff and what they're doing is phenomenal. Microsoft's really working on picking up their side of it. But one thing that Microsoft did is many years ago they acquired this company called Flipgrid, and Flipgrid went through a rebranding, and I was able to go to the event that they call Flip Fest, and we were walking through this warehouse, and I'm not gonna first of all, we're in New Orleans, we're walking, and the Uber drops you off, and there's just this door, and it just says Mardi Gras World, and I'm like, and there was just a guy, oh, here for Microsoft, yeah, okay, go this way, and there was these weird almost like big stickers like on the ground, I'm walking, I'm thinking to myself, this has got to mean something, but I'm just in awe because there was stilt walkers and girls doing aerobatic kind of stuff along the side as you're walking in. And then it was like all the retired floats. So this is everything not to do with the Technote accident, but finally getting to the end of this travel, turns out we were walking over their brand new logo. We were walking through this huge event going in to hear them talk about this release of Flip, so it's no longer Flipgrid, it's now Flip. And so Flip, they've really worked on rebranding. What I say, this isn't any of their thing, and maybe they'll take me down when they hear because they'll say it's bad. It's kind of taking TikTok and Snapchat and kind of blending it together because your filters, your ability to use, and really one thing especially for the high school kids, I work with sixth graders. I work with that younger level. So they're not necessarily as active in the classroom on phones. Some of the high school teachers may have their kids using it. This is like a game changer when it comes to the phone. But just for example, here in Flip, created a quick group under my account just for PACT. So for this, if somebody had a title, I'm going to go in, I'm going to post a response. But I'm just going to quickly here, and I'm going to add a response to this section here. Hold on a second. Where was I going? And of course, I got to go into here. All right, now when I'm in here, so I'm in this general, now I'm going to go here and I'm going to add a record a response. So when I do this, it's like Inception, computer in a computer. So now your camera's on, and so right here I can either click it for a picture or do a video, but I could change. So they have all sorts of filters now that I can all change up how the beard looks on camera. All right, yep, okay, woof, it went down way too long, getting a little green. And then to protect the eyesight of our viewers, we could just totally do this and have some Lego fun. All right, just kind of crank it out. All right. Oh my, this is like Ghost Adventures right here.
And that's
all right,
nice
so,
for kids who don't like being on camera.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. It's totally what they would rock. You're right. So this totally has those elements of tons of filters, which, it's good and bad, right? For a program, it's good and bad for teachers. Oof, that was not good. And, it's got a little movement going. So a little lava lamp action. So they first can set the filter. Now, obviously, classroom management side, limit the kids' time to play with filters. Give them that first opportunity to play with every single filter, get it out of their system. Then once you have it, you can go ahead and you can add text. And again, it's kind of your basics, typewriter, partay. All right, son, put your things in here. Really loves Microsoft Surface. Little known fact. All right, so you can add your text in here. Oh, 2 R's. Can't spell. Go in and edit.
You spelled surfing wrong, even though I'm not good at surfing.
I was just trying to give you a chance to pick on me. And then, you can angle it, do your whole deal. So, of course, they love this. You can do the doodles. Now, I don't have my ink pen on the screen, but just using the mouse, give it a, so click and hold. And now I can squiggle all around. All right, make my deal. And okay, you can change the color when I want to draw. I want to make a red line here. So, again, kids having great, if you have iPads, you have the kids are doing it on their phone, whatever the case may be, just that ability to go through, definitely could see some great uses for that. If you want to delete it, you click on it and just hit delete. All right, that's gone. And then, of course, stickers. Stickers are everywhere. All right, so you can go here. I love my daughter has a service dog, so I love this little 3D kind of setup of a service dog here. So her dog's name's Harley, so I'll have Harley up there in the corner. All right, and then you can scroll through. They have a lot of different things. They change them up based on stuff that's going on. You got Flip Vibes only. Add their little funky logos. Oh, I forgot to uncheck oh, no, there it is. The dog's still there. All right, so we don't want to hide the PACT logo, so we'll put that over there. I can add animated GIFs. Now, I do know, so there's animated stickers, then animated GIFs. I do know, and I'll say this now, that in our district, our filter blocks out Jiffy or Giphy, depending on where you are on that argument. And so I think this would end up, if I was at school on our Wi-Fi, this would be blocked out. But the stickers is kind of a cool way they're getting around that. So we're able to add there a little minion action. All right, so we got the minion up there. All right, and then this just adds borders. So, all right, so we can give it a look, kind of a cool little frame set up. Almost, it's kind of got the feel that Dom likes to say with the Etch-a-Sketch. The cool thing too is right here, if I do, so let me go ahead and do a quick video. All right, so all of this is going, blah, 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 blah. All right, and then we'll go ahead and while the video is going, I can add backgrounds. All right, I can put animated or different pictures from my computer. So I'm going to go ahead and stop. Now, the other thing is when I go to this next screen here and edit, all right, and I can go back, and now that I shot that video, I can say, you know what, it was just a little bit off. And the cool thing is my camera picture, I can move around. All right. And then even when you're going through, they have a new feature where you can make it look like, I'm in the bottom corner and my content is really big in the screen, kind of like how we are in StreamYard, but yet it'll do it. So you're almost making a screencasted video right inside of Flipgrid. So right inside of Flip. So Flip has some phenomenal tools, just ways to get kids active and creative. And again, I didn't set up my camera fancy style like Dom today, but just pulling it up, and we'll see if it even is able to. So you got the header on the top, but just literally at the bottom, you got your ability to press the circle, start the video, and you dive right in, and it looks exactly like the web. All right. So it's really cool the way they've been able to kind of get that all lined up. The app, the website, everything's all synced up. Flip, I believe, is going to make a comeback this year, again, because mobile is so big. So I would challenge teachers to get kids not to make a Flip for homework. I think it's going to be very hard to keep them off of the platform.
Yeah.
So that is my tech note.
That's a great tech note. I haven't played with it that much since the rebranding, but I always offer that to one of my enrichment projects because it drives me nuts how kids will be doing TikToks when I walk in the classroom from hall duty. I'm like, phones away, and like, okay, like, you do a Flipgrid. I don't like being on camera. I'm like, you were just making TikToks. It's like,
right.
So I've incorporated TikTok. I've incorporated Flipgrid, and I do have a number of kids who will do the Flipgrid. And I tell the students, if you're making a video, I can't check spelling. So if you turn in an essay, proper writing and all of that, grammar, punctuation. I said, if you're speaking, I give you a little leeway because everyone gets nervous on camera. Case in point, I stumble through things whenever I do my podcast here, or live stream here, or podcast for my classes. I'm a little more lenient from that, but I can't check spelling. So you don't misspell words on the background. I don't check your rough draft or spelling. I check for content. Flipgrid and these audio and video platforms, you don't have to. And I have kids that I don't want to be on camera. Put the filter up so it's a blank screen or pixelate it. That takes care of that. And it's a way, especially for students who do have a hard time with the corrections and stuff. It's still an important skill to teach them the proofreading, but it's another method they can communicate and be creative with the assignments they do for the teachers. So they're not always just doing one thing. It adds a variety. Writing is important, but so is speaking and communicating, and gives them an online presence that's positive.
Most definitely. Yeah, and that's huge. And you look at doing these different things, whether it's the video, whether it's through podcasts, as we've talked about, and we're hopefully doing a session at Pete and C like we did at KTI, talking about using podcasts in your classroom. We always want to get the kids to the point where they're creating the content.
Yes.
It's just the highest level of learning there can be. So with that in mind, our tech notes are different things that we talk about. We are always looking for show ideas. You got a show idea? Again, it's like if you want to step up for PHT, you're not going to hear no very often. Shoot that idea to pod@pht.org. And if you have even a tech note, maybe it's a request, hey, I really want to learn about XYZ, whatever the case may be, or maybe it's a good idea to talk about this. We do the best we can to comb the interwebs, but sometimes we're missing things, or maybe it's just going back to something basic and just kind of going over what's new and updated in Google Docs or Microsoft Word or whatever the case may be. So feel free to shoot request to pod@pht.org. Anything to add to that, Dom?
Yeah, it's interesting because there's tools. We've been doing this a long time. We're getting up there. Me more so than you. And there's tools that I looked at years ago that it didn't work for what I needed it to, and it'll pop up on the radar again. Someone say, "Hey, have you tried this?" I'm like, "I looked at it years ago, and it's totally rebranded." Like Flipgrid was good. They recently rebranded, and it's a lot more. But there's things that have come around again, new and improved, because if you don't change, you go out of business. The business model doesn't hold up well in technology. You have to keep adjusting and changing. So there's always things that we may have forgotten about or used a long time ago, and it kind of fell by the wayside, but it's back again. So those ideas are good for us to hear.
Yep, and most definitely, and it's like just why I sit in the sessions at KTI. It's just like the sessions I go to at Pete and C. I'm always learning stuff, and I always want to learn stuff. I don't ever want to get to the point where I'm just doing the same old. And I love giving, we love going back and forth about Mac versus PC versus Apple versus Microsoft, but we're really, our skill sets in multiple programs because we want to be where the kids are at. And it's an ebb and flow, and it changes. You all know that as you're watching, and the different things that you got going on. So we truly appreciate all that interaction, all that information, and we'll do our best to work on it. I mean, dude, think about it. Episode 14, one a month. We're over a year old with the pod, and we've gotten requests to do it more often. So yeah, but it's pretty exciting stuff.
It's been fun, and it continues to grow. We have great guests come in, and they help make the show better. Otherwise, it's just two ruggedly handsome Hollywood-like characters people don't take seriously because we're so ruggedly handsome and witty.
That's it. We're way too energetic.
Fortunately, they couldn't make the show, so they put Eric and I in instead.
Yeah, stand in A and stand in B. All right, that's it. We lock the door on the way in. They can't get back in. So I love it. All right, well, this is the time of the pod. We got to make sure that our corporate council members and our sponsors are happy. So we'd like to take some time to thank them. That sound good to you, Dom?
Sounds good.
One play. It did. But that volume, man, I got to work on that volume. I tell you, that woke everybody up, didn't it? All right.
Yeah.
Here we go. Prepare your volumes. This might be, we're out of practice. Here we go. Whew. All right. Got some volume there. And we truly appreciate the sponsors, all the things that they do, helping PACT, helping KTI, helping all of our regions to do really cool things, bring neat swag and tchotchkes even, if you will.
Yes.
And for all the cool things going on. Well, time to sign off episode 14, Dom.
Yes, it's been a good episode. One of our longer episodes. I'm reading about an hour 45. But we had some good guests and good information from them. I want to thank them again. Our new KTIs and first year lead learner.
Yeah, we got Melissa Krenzer joining, Ryann Bedoya, Krissy Barnes, and Jessica Seidl-Kim. And you can check them out at mkrenzer20, at Tech Teacher, TCHR, Bedoya, BEDOYA, at K Barnes, BARNES 3085, and at Seidl Steam Space, SEIDL STEAM SPACE. They'll be in the show notes for you if you want to connect with them and ask them about the different products they go or projects they have going on. And also, they're very responsive and able to help you out. So it's definitely a great PLN to be a part of.
Yeah. Follow them on Twitter.
Most definitely.
Also follow PACT, and each individual region has its own Twitter handle too, as does the out of state, which that's the one Twitter chat we did not mention. We were talking about Twitter chats. The out of state region has its own Twitter chat that goes on during the months too. I believe that's continuing.
All right. Well, Dom, as we're signing off, we always like to use our tagline. PAECT.
We are
the voice of EdTech
in Pennsylvania
and
beyond.
Thank you so much for joining, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful start to your school years.
Take care, everybody.